We are in the midst of an election year. We obviously have a huge midterm election, but we also have some special elections. And we continue our series with the candidates in the special election for District 13. This is the seat that was once held by longtime Congressman David Scott, who suddenly passed. And now there are several candidates hoping to have a chance to fill the remainder of his seat until the next representative that is elected in November starts that term in 2027. One of those who is up on the ballot in this special election, that election happening on July 28th in District 13, is Judge Carlos Moore, joining us live in studio today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We truly appreciate it. Mr. Moore, voters know your name because you were part of that primary process for the full term. You did not move forward in that. We know that Dr. Jasmine Clark got the Democratic nomination for that. However, you have submitted your name again for this special election. What's different now that voters should know that might have changed from your primary run, and why should voters mark your name on the ballot on July 28th?
You know, I have always subscribed to the notion of service before self. And I do know that it was in the best interest of the district to have a long-serving congressman continue to serve because seniority matters in Congress. But now that he has passed and gone on to glory, I do believe that it's incumbent upon the people to have the choice of electing someone who has the necessary experience. I am a trained fighter. I've been a lawyer for nearly a quarter of a century. Since 2002, I was a judge for 6.5 years. I've been the president of the National Bar Association, serving as the 79th president of that association, which made me the president of the largest association of black lawyers and judges, not only in this country, but around the world. And so I have the necessary experience. I have the relationships on Capitol Hill with members of the Congressional Black Caucus and others, and I have a track record. And I know how to fight in a time such as this.
And you have a record, a proven record of accomplishments. You also have a record of from Mississippi that could be questionable for some voters. You were a municipal judge in Mississippi. You were permanently barred from serving on the bench there shortly before you came to Atlanta to affirm here. What is your message to voters that might look at this and say, okay, if you had issues in Mississippi, why should I trust you to lead my community here in Georgia?
Because I believe a person that will not stand for anything will fall for anything. You have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And I was not going to mislead the people after the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. I told people that if they still believed that justice was blind in America, they just refused to accept the hard truth. We do not have colorblind justice in America like we should. And so I spoke out about it as the president of the National Bar Association, as a sitting judge. And interestingly enough, I am glad I am a former judge now because the Nolan Wells incident in my home county in Mississippi is going on, and I've been able to tell the people what should be occurring. I've signed arrest warrants. I have signed search warrants. I know the process, and so I've told them on my lives what they should expect, and it's got millions of reviews, and no one cares about Mississippi barring me for life because I was never moving back there anyway. You got one thing wrong. I had already moved here and got married in 24. They removed me from the bench or banned me from the bench. You can't remove somebody that's already resigned. They banned me in 25. I had already moved here, resigned, got married, had a baby on the way, and was doing just fine. Married to a physician, a lovely physician, and we are thankful that I'm now retired. A sitting judge should not be talking about cases. The mom of the mom of one of the suspects potentially that may be involved in that matter, she's a sitting judge, and she's talking about it. So they have filed complaints against her. We're going to see if they're going to ban her for life. This is something that has not been decided by a jury. I talked after the fact, after Kyle Rittenhouse verdict had been decided. I gave my comments. I had that much sense. But she's talking about something that her own stepson could be involved in, and she's gone public twice. So we're going to see if Mississippi will ban her for life. I'm probably the only one they have ever done that to.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for the clarification as well as in the timing of when you moved. You are here now in Georgia, and you've been here with your family. Taking a look back at this special election, if you are elected, you're talking about a very short time in Washington, 4, potentially 5 months, depending on if this is a straight up election or if it goes to a runoff. What realistically could you accomplish, let's say in the first 30 days?
Realistically, I could help protect democracy. I understand that the occupant of the White House plans to say that Senators Ossoff and Warnock were not legitimately elected in 2020, that they are fakes, they're frauds. That's what the president is prepared to say. I will stand tooth and nail against that and support our able and our duly elected senators. I will not stand for foolishness. I have a track record. When I go after something, when I'm supporting you, I support you, and I support our senators. We will be there to protect the citizens of Georgia for whatever amount of time we're in Washington, D.C.
What would you say would be your top priority if you get this seat?
My top priority is bringing down the cost of everyday living. Prices have gone up too high. I do believe that housing needs to be more affordable. I'm happy that Senator Warnock's bill has passed Congress and has been signed into law that the private equity companies can no longer come in and buy these houses in these communities, jacking up the price. And so I think gas prices need to come down. We need to go on record as being against the war that Trump entered into with Israel and Iran without the proper authorizations, because the prices are going up too high. And so those type of things I would go on record. Another thing I would do is hold those accountable that's running amok of our Constitution. From Trump on down, if a Supreme Court justice is doing things unlawfully, I will file the impeachment against the Supreme Court justice. I'll file it against the president, the vice president, anyone that, with my constitutionally trained eyes, that I think has violated the Constitution. I will file the necessary articles. I don't play.
I mean, you sound like you don't.
No.
And you sound like you have a plan if you are in that seat. Well, give me an example. Is there somebody that you would file against if you, let's say the election was today and you were up there tomorrow?
There is a native Georgian on the Supreme Court. He may be of my same hue, or a little darker, really, but he is not of the same faith and beliefs, and he's done a lot of things allegedly that have been unethical. And so once I research it as a congressman, I will see if it has risen to the level of impeachment. We know his wife has done a lot of things.
And we're talking about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas. I tried to allude to it, but let's make it, it's time to call a spade, Clarence Thomas. He has done some things allegedly that calls for proper investigation, and I will look into it. He's a native Georgian, and he needs to represent us in a good light, or get off that seat.
What are some of the things that you're seeing in Congress right now? There's a lot of partisan moves. There's some bipartisan measures, such as the bill you just talked about that Senator Warnock really championed when it comes to regulating the developers buying up single-family homes. But we have seen a lot of partisan action that has really, we had a historic government shutdown. How would you work across the aisle to combat these partisan moves that ultimately the residents and voters pay the price for, because nothing happens?
I have a track record of working across the aisle when necessary. I had been a trial lawyer for nearly 24 years when the Supreme Court or Mississippi tried to discipline me. They made it very hard for me and said I couldn't practice law for a year. So what I did, since I couldn't practice law, I knew insurance. I went to the other side and did insurance 6 months last year. And so I'm willing to do whatever it takes to take care of my family. We survived. You can tell I hadn't missed any meals. And so in Congress, I will be able to go across the aisle when necessary to try to get things done. I believe in taking action and getting things done. I don't just see problems, I look for solutions.
Can you give us an example of where you saw a problem and got a solution done in your career?
Yes, when I went on the bench, the first order of business on the bench in Mississippi was to remove that Confederate flag from my courtroom. The state flag bore the Confederate emblem. I had the bailiff to take it out on the first day during the first order of business, and it never returned in my courtroom. So I led by example, and a few years later, the flag was gone in the whole state. And so I also started a Do Better ASAP program, a Do Better Alternative Sentencing Accountability program. I thought we were locking up too many of our young people, first-time youthful nonviolent offenders. I thought we were finding them too heavily. And so I created alternative sentencing where if they did certain parameters, met certain parameters, I gave them a unique sentence. I may have ordered them to increase their grades by a letter grade or two and come back in 6 months, and they would have no fine. I may have ordered them to get a GED, go to trade school, enroll in college, and a lot of them met my parameters, and they did just fine. Some have gone on to college to graduate, and so I'm very proud of that. And I'm even prouder that Walmart took notice of it, the Walmart Foundation, and gave $1 million when I was president of the National Bar Association to train other judges across the country. I was a lowly municipal judge, but it caught fire because I have a big following on social media, and Walmart gave $1 million towards that. Kelly Clarkson invited me to her show to announce it and celebrate it, but for some reason, the Supreme Court banned me for life for what I said on Kelly Clarkson. So Interestingly enough, it wasn't a unanimous decision. It was like a 7-1 decision. The 7 white people voted against me, and the 1 black on the Supreme Court voted in my favor. His dissent was longer than their order. So go back and read Justice Leslie King's dissent. He said I had the freedom of speech to say what I said.
What is your message to, just from your experience, and this is not a question that I wrote down, it's just something that came to mind. What I'm hearing from you is that you have faced discrimination in Mississippi.
Yes.
What do you think needs to change to make sure that people are treated, in your words, equally? Obviously, we're in Georgia, but I just want to hear your thoughts on that from Mississippi.
I believe we have to, as a people, stop going along to get along. We have to call a spade and not be afraid to stand up. Too many people don't know that they're not free. Harriet Tubman said she could have freed 1,000 more slaves only had they known they were enslaved. A lot of our people in the South, the Deep South, believe that they have to be passive. I am nobody's second-class citizen. I have always demanded to be treated equal. I would not lie to the people. I told them we have not a colorblind system, and that was the truth. I still say it today, and I'm free to say it as an attorney and as a former judge. And I think I had the First Amendment right to say it. We're going to see if they're going to ban the white lady that's going out saying things publicly about a case. If they don't ban her, they're going to have to reverse themselves, their decision against me, and say we have the First Amendment rights to say what we're saying.
Do you have a plan to appeal? Are you monitoring that?
I am monitoring it. And
for the layman, how would that work?
The layman, they're going to make a decision in her case. I mean, there's been several complaints made against her, so it has to be properly investigated. And when they rule, we will see. What she's done is what she's allegedly done is so much far worse than what they said I did. And so if I'm banned for life, she should be banned for 10 lifetimes, or at least 1. And
So
if she's not, we're going to have a problem.
I was going to say, if she's not, then what's the next move?
Then I would immediately petition to not be banned for life there based on their ruling in that case. And if that's not successful, I will take it to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Thank you so much for giving us a look at that. Bringing things back at home, just a last word to you, to the voters. As a candidate, I really like to do this. Give you 30 seconds to speak to our viewers, speak to the voters. Why should they mark your name on the ballot on July 28th?
I'm a battle-tested fighter. I don't back down. I have the intestinal fortitude to stand for you come hell or high water. I've had 8 death threats in my life, and I've never turned back. Nothing turns me back when I'm set out on a purpose. I will never let you down. I will never betray you. I will give you the God-earnest truth, and I will be your trained professional spokesperson. I almost quit school because I don't play. I'll give it to you straight with no chaser.
All right. Mr. Carlos Moore, thank you so much for coming on to the stream. We truly appreciate it. And we'll be checking in with you. For those of you watching, keep in mind, early voting's happening right now. Election day is July 28th. If there's a runoff, I believe that date would be August 25th if nobody gets 50% or more of the vote. We'll be pushing this full interview on 11alive.com so you can research more about Mr. Moore as well as the other candidates on your ballot.